I played around with this quite a bit more. I've got 2.5 turns lock to lock, and I've set this up here. These are my 2 angles. The outside angle here is where the stock hole is, and the far one is where I've got this kind of mounted here, about 1 inch inside the hole. So I've got it set where it just about hits the stabilizer bar there, and so I think this is plenty of turning radius. It's not as much as I would like probably, but I think it'll work out like this. So looks like this front end will work. The steering rack will work just fine. I still gotta clean it up, put a boot on it, and some other things, but pretty much I've determined that everything is going to work just like it is. I'll use heim joints, so what I'm going to do here is trying to bore a hole. I'm just going to cut that off, cut it, and move it in about 1 inch and re-weld it again. I'll do the same with the other side, but before I go cutting up any of that stuff, I want to make sure I got the right wheels and spindles and everything on it. This is my pride and joy. I'm gonna put that on a cap there. Just have a little logo for my car. And I poured the rest of my rust remover inside this radiator and moved it around, let it set for several days. Looks like I got quite a bit of rust out of it. I'll flush it out now, and then I'm going to try to mock up this radiator where I need to go here. And I cleaned it up a bit. I'm sitting here looking at where this thing's got to go. It actually set out a little further than my edge of my radiator to the frame. I think what I can do is cut a triangle out of that. It's steel, and I can weld that back up and just bend it where it points in a little bit. And that's what I'm going to try to do. Is just bend it a bit and weld it up, and hopefully I can get it in the frame. I just notched it there a bit, and took a hammer and beat it in, so looks like it's clearing my frame good. And it's all mounted on good here. So now at this point I can try to weld that bottom piece up. Now, I'm not a pipe welder by any means, but I've got this pretty much welded up. I don't think that there's any holes in it, best I can tell. I got it polished up pretty good with my weld spatter tool. I might have a couple little places here where it might not have got completely sealed. I think it's alright though. If I do have a little pinhole or something, I can be fairly easy to fix that later, but at this point I don't really care. When I went to bend the neck there, it looks like I might have cracked my solder just a little bit right here, because partially the neck twisted in and partially I was able to bend the metal. But I'll resolder this all. Meantime, I'm just going to clean it all up. See what I can do about painting it. Try to make it look as good as I can. Well, there it is, marked up. About the right angle and everything's clear and good. I can thread and tap me a bolt hole here. And figure out how my grill is going to go on it. What kind of a grill am I going to use? I'm going to try to make these videos a little shorter. I noticed that they're pretty long and boring, so I'll try to cut them a little short. I've got a 32 grill shell here. These don't look too bad, but it starts to narrow down at the top, so it looks like it's going to stick up pretty high there. I don't particularly like that. I've got this old rusty, I think this is another 32, it looks like it, maybe. That's a little different, you can see from the top here compared to the top on that one. Basically the same shape, pretty much the same size. It's been cut before, channeled down for a Tbucket, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it up again and use it for a pattern for the top. Well, that's about where it goes. Like this is coming down to cover most of my radiator top. Right here in the very top edge is what's limiting it. And it's sticking up, I don't know, 4 inches, 3.5, 4 inches. It looks like it's enough room to operate my my cap and everything. Looking at the whole car, it's sticking up a little higher than the front of the car, the front of the cowl. I don't know how much difference this is going to make, because that blower and everything is going to be sticking up a lot higher than any of that stuff. But yeah, well, maybe not. Might be sticking up just about level with the top. I'll measure it and see. Really don't want to buy another frame or a cowl. If I can use this chrome one here, it ain't too bad. It's got rust and pits, but at least give me some kind of a grill, or a radiator shell rather. Now this one cut up a little bit out of it, and it looked like it went on pretty good. Can move it back a bit. I've got just enough room here to take my radiator cap out. If I measure it from the ground here, I don't know, I got about this much. And if I look over here on the cowl, I'm like maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches, yeah, 1.5 inches above the cowl. So if we put something on it to tell the level, it's really not that bad. It's a little taller than everything, but I can't really lower it anymore because I'm touching my radiator right here. But I think this is passable. It's not as low as I would like it. You can see where I cut another inch out of the bottom here. I would have liked to have been able to get it down that far. I'll tweak around on it and see if I can get it a little bit lower. But all in all, this looks pretty good.